Let me tell you about the pressure to succeed, the pressure to be successful. This story or this topic lies close to my heart because I am subjected, I would say, to this pressure myself, and I would like to tell you a little bit about where it stems from, and I think where it might stem from within you if you feel pressured to be successful. Before we get into this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about self-development, dating, and how to reduce suffering in life. Let's get into it. Okay, so it's currently the summer vacation in 2020 and I've finished my master's degree in finance and investment, and now I'm figuring out what to do next year, which is a big question mark. Now, I do not do very well with uncertainty. I can't really handle it very well. So it's sort of unconsciously stressing me out, and there's tension within me because it's a big sort of feeling of uncertainty that just can't go away until I've figured out what I'll be doing. And a part of the reason why it's stressing me out is because I want to succeed in whatever it is. Now, let me tell you a little bit of where this pressure for success comes from, and I think it might come from within you also. So nowadays, I've consumed a lot of self-help gurus, let's say, and self-help topics and books. And, I look up to these people, especially sort of the intellectual branch of the self-development gurus. So people like Jordan Peterson and, mainly him, let's say. And also, other people, maybe like some things that Ben Shapiro says are very inspiring. And of course, you look at these people and you see how competent they are and the degree of depth of their knowledge, and it is really astounding what they have accomplished and who they are, what they're capable of. And of course, you want to be like that. I want to be like that, and I feel the pressure to do that. Now, the thing is, these guys are way older than me. Jordan Peterson, I think he's like 50-something, and Ben Shapiro, I'd say, is 30-something, I think. One really shouldn't compare oneself, but one sees this and says, wow, I want to be like that. Now, this really comes from consuming self-help content for years. I started watching these motivational videos when I was probably about 15 years old, and now I'm 22. So a solid 7 years of this content, and it really changes your life, and for the better, I would say. But it also has, cons and downsides. So the thing is, I'm 22 now, I finished my studies, and I want success ASAP. I want it right now. And that is dangerous, this attitude, because I had a talk with an alumni from my university, and she gave me excellent advice. She said, Henry, it is dangerous to succeed at such a young age, or to reach the pinnacle of your career at such a young age, because what happens then is your goal evaporates. It vanishes. Your purpose almost evaporates, and then you need to find a new goal. And the thing is, life is what Nipsey Hussle, the rapper, rest in peace, would say is life is a marathon. It's really a long-term journey, and you should not, let's say, win the game too quickly, because you are still alive afterwards. And if you've won it already, then what's in it for you anymore? You'll have to find a new game, and I think that could be quite dangerous because, what I know now, let's say, with this uncertainty, like I just talked about, with what to do next year and from then on, that is where you fall into, let's say, a little bit of chaos, let's say, because you don't understand anything and you can't really predict anymore. And what happens is, that's like an existential threat to you, and it hits you very in your core, because your survival depends on it, and the way your perspective and the way you interpret the world will be affected by it, because this might just wipe you out completely and you'll not understand anything anymore. And that's quite like an existential threat. Maybe not literally to your survival, because you still have an infrastructure of family and friends around you, but with regards to your outlook on life, let's say the the way you perceive the world isn't like what's the right work for you, how should you be spending your time, what is good for you, that might completely collapse and completely change. Yeah, and it'll shake up your life potentially in a bad way, I think. And if that happens to you when you're 50 years old, or let's say, that's maybe okay, but if it happens to you when you're 30 or so, I'm not sure if it's better if it's 50 or 30, but yeah, I'm not sure honestly, but and the thing is, I have through consuming this content carefully, I have learned a lot about self-development and constructed knowledge on how to live a fairly healthy life, and especially avoid deleterious mistakes that others have made before me. And because that is what self-help gurus also communicate, they tell you about things to avoid and how to spend your time with the good things and hence avoid the bad things, let's say. Now, this is also dangerous because it sort of encourages you to take a mindset of wanting to skip key stages in your life because you would want to skip these steps because they are per se not useful. Like, I know casual sex should be avoided. I know clubbing isn't too useful. I know binging Netflix excessively isn't productive. But unless you actually live those mistakes, you will never have the wisdom, I think. You will have the knowledge, but not the wisdom. And this happened actually to me in high school, where in my last sort of 1.5 years of high school, I decided I wanted to be a rapper, and went in the full sort of hustle, joined the hustle culture of working or long hours producing music, let's say. And I skipped a key learning lesson in my life, which was clubbing and, dating. So I essentially avoided both of those, and I think I do regret it because there were points in life where I would have made a lot of fun memories with friends and would have matured along with it, whilst I had actually skipped something, and I had matured in the sense of what is right for me, because I knew then music eventually wasn't the thing for me. I'm not a rapper, I'm not a rock star, I learned that, and I learned how to work hard to a degree. I learned how to dream, but I didn't learn how to socialize properly and how to have fun as much and how to sort of, I wouldn't say communicate, but handle girls, let's say, which was sort of a thing that my friends learned, but I really didn't then. I've learned it now, but at like 4 years later, let's say. And the thing is that just because something is bad doesn't mean it should be avoided entirely, because like Nipsey Hussle again, let's get back to it, he says, what is a mistake without the lesson? The best teacher in your life is your own experience, he says. And I think that is very correct, that every mistake has a silver lining in that there's a lesson to be taken from it. And if you don't make the mistake, you never learn the lesson, so to say. And I would say that isn't really, that might be a caveat of self-help, or the traditional self-help messages that, they don't really, do they? I'm not sure, but a lot of them, or at least I interpreted it as one should avoid mistakes, key mistakes, but, what is a mistake without the lesson, So, what I wanted to sort of document in this video a little bit is that one doesn't need to be productive all the time in order to be somebody valuable. Like, I have this feeling that this pressure that I always need to be producing something, creating something, because or else I'll lose track, I'll fall behind, and I won't, be as intelligent, or not as intelligent, but as knowledgeable as, let's say, Jordan Peterson. And I want to be like him or even better, but that's quite dangerous. I think that's the mindset of an alcoholic, somebody who thinks, if they don't work, then they're not valuable. I mean, I think it stems from insecurity, being workaholic. Sorry, that you're running from something, like you're working to avoid something, let's say, and that might be facing the fact that it's okay to just exist, to be, and yeah. And I think this need to produce always stems from this insecurity that I'm not good enough, just like that, let's say. And also another pressure definitely is, which I wanted to document, is that, I think I would like to follow a self-development track in life, not the traditional, but write books maybe, or become a public speaker and try and share knowledge or wisdom. And in order to be able to do that, I need to learn a lot. So I need to read a lot of books. I need to consume knowledge, read on philosophy, psychology, and that takes a lot of time. Hence, I need to be doing that as soon as possible in order to get to the point of the intellectual prestige, like Jordan Peterson, let's say, as soon as possible, because I want it now. But as I said, I think that's dangerous, because life is something to be lived gradually. Fast-paced growth is dangerous, whether it's in the economy, whether it's personally, because what goes up has to come down. It is a lot healthier, or more aligned with the healthy nature of human being, to grow gradually. And I think that that's very important. Yep. So be careful that you don't run too fast, because you might trip, because you won't be able to handle it. And I should really be telling this to myself. In a sense, I'm speaking to myself right now, because I need to know that. I need to internalize that. Definitely, yeah. So in conclusion, the pressure for success for me has definitely come from consuming a lot of self-development content, which has helped me be more ambitious, have dreams, but it has also pressured me to work hard, especially the sort of hustle culture, and try to get on the level of my idols as soon as possible, even though these people are far older than me, and they've succeeded in their domain, but everybody is idiosyncratic and has an individual aspect to themselves, so nobody will be like another. So one should really actually just not look at idols, let's say, but just follow on, try and nurture one's own authentic domain, one's own trajectory and own growth, because you will not be like the other people. And it's actually better to not be like the other people and just follow the trajectory that is aligned with your individual characteristics of who you are, let's say. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about self-development, dating, and how to reduce suffering in life. So I hope maybe you could relate to this pressure for success, and maybe where it comes from, and actually that it's important to make mistakes, because what is a mistake without the lesson? And yeah, so that was it, I guess. Yeah. So thank you for listening.